Welcome, everybody. Thanks so much for giving your time. Time is the hardest thing to give these days. We all know that. So we really appreciate you being with us today, giving us your time. Hopefully, we're going to try our best to make it worth your time. Your comments, feedback is extremely welcomed, uh, definitely encouraged. There's a Q&A panel in the GoToWebinar. Please use the GoToWebinar Q&A panel to throw the questions to us, of course. We'll get to it as soon as possible, either verbally or directly within the GoToWebinar screen. So thanks again for joining. My name is Asif Rahmani, and today's webinar we're talking about is a sneak peek of our product that's coming to Office 365. It's called VisualSP Training for Office 365. Hopefully you'll get excited about it as well once you hear what it can do. If not, we would love to hear constructive feedback on it as well. I personally, as being a trainer for SharePoint and also for other things aside from SharePoint for so long, am extremely excited personally of what it can do for Office 365 users and administrators. And hopefully you can share the same feelings after you see exactly what it is. Uh, with me also is Mark McDermott. I'm going to introduce myself and then I'll let Mark introduce him. So Mark, if you can go to the next slide, we'll go from there. So as I was saying, I'm Asif Rahmani. I'm the VisualSP founder and CEO. We started this company, I won't go too much into it because I think Mark is going to later, but the main reason this company exists is to help and train and empower the users, the end users, the power users, and the administrators, the developers, the designers, everybody. And we're continuing on our mission to do that. This webinar we'll be talking about those specific points as well as to how we're planning to do this thing for the Office 365 community as a whole. So I've been involved, as I said, for a very long time in this industry, in this ecosystem, and I love hearing feedback from people like yourself, so I would love to hear feedback from you guys today as well. With that, Mark, I'm going to go ahead and pass it to you.
Yeah, thanks, Asif. Hi, everyone. My name is Mark McDermott. I'm the Chief Revenue Officer for VisualSP. Some of you may have known me from my years of being around the Microsoft ecosystem and joined forces with Asif at the beginning of this year. Asif and I first met, and I had an awareness of what VisualSP was, but when I got to know Asif and the company a little bit better and saw where the company was headed, I was really excited to be a part of it. So to transition a little bit, as Asif mentioned, I'll give just a brief background on our company, where we've been, and then why we're here, which is to show you where we're going. So as Asif mentioned, he's been a trainer in the Microsoft ecosystem, mostly around SharePoint, for a very, very long time. And a number of years ago, actually it was about 2012, recognized that there was a big need to enhance the training that he was doing. So a lot of the training that he was doing was classroom-based training or other training, and also had curated a lot of video content that he was posting up to the SharePoint Videos website, for those of you that might be familiar with that. From there, there was the idea to actually insert the training, the content necessary to help people get their work done right inside of the SharePoint framework. So even though the company was founded in 2005, as I mentioned, the product actually came out in 2012. And at this point, we've got many, many customers, but I think it's important to point out that we have over 200 enterprise-class customers. These are Fortune 500 type customers, and over 1.5 million users. And as you can see, our past product roadmap has been to support SharePoint 2010, SharePoint 2013 and Q4, so just right around the corner for us. We will be supporting SharePoint 2016, all on-prem. And then also we have a SharePoint Online offering. And so we'll come back to that concept of online, which is why we're all here today, in just a little bit. There we go. So I think I mentioned that we came to be a products company because we recognized a need, that there's a gap between what happens in a classroom and an online training type environment, and what happens when people are actually in the job. And so we call this performance support. And you might have heard this term from us before or from elsewhere. And a short way of thinking of performance support is it's on-the-job training. So in context of what we're talking about today, it's training inside of the work environment. So we knew that we needed to use technology to augment that classroom experience and do it in context in the work experience, so in SharePoint or in Office 365. And specifically, this goes back again to 2012 when we first developed the product, that we recognized that there was a memory retention issue when someone leaves the classroom and then actually goes to go do their work. And companies were spending a ton on training, and they continue to spend a ton on training. But a lot of those training efforts can be wasted because of the loss of memory retention. And the other thing too, and we hear this all the time from IT help desk type personnel, that there's constant need for support inside, or what we call the moment of need, so while they're working on their SharePoint or Office tasks. And so with a performance support tool like VisualSP, we can help end users master what it is that they're trying to do more quickly. So with that, we have a quick poll. So Asif, if you can launch the poll for us. I actually can't see it on my end. There we go. Thank you. So we're curious if you could all take just a few seconds to respond here. Where do you or your users, depending on who you are on this call, go for help inside of Office 365? So if you could select one of those options. So if you or most of your users go to IT Help Desk, check that. We know that a lot of people will Google for responses or for help queries to understand how to do tasks inside of Office 365. So if you could just take a few seconds to select the item that's most appropriate to you, and we'll leave this open for just probably 10, 15 more seconds. Okay. So 66% of you say Google or YouTube. 36% of you are saying IT Help Desk. 34% Microsoft Help and or websites. 21% work colleagues, and the rest is other or unknown. And so this helps illustrate exactly what it is that we're trying to solve, and why what's next for VisualSP is VisualSP Training for Office 365. The way that we got here is that SharePoint a number of years ago, and keeping in mind that our legacy has been as a SharePoint training and application company, has become part of the broader Office 365 framework. And so our customers and our partners and even Microsoft alike have all recommended and asked us to build out our offering. And so our goal here is to do what we've been doing for years, but to a much broader technology base in the Microsoft Office 365 stack. So the underlying theme here is that we want to improve adoption. So this is another way to think of this is helping your users to be able to use the technology that you're paying for better, and specifically Office 365. And as I mentioned, we recognize that there's a gap between what's taught in a classroom and what can be done in the work experience. So having a performance support or just-in-time learning tool like VisualSP, the users are not disrupted by having to leave their work experience and go to Google or YouTube or call the IT help desk or go to a workspace or work colleague, and they can stay in their workspace and in their workflow and get the help where they need it, when they need it. The key for us, and one of the reasons that VisualSP has been so successful in the past, is that all of this is done in context and on demand. So if you've never seen our product before, what you're going to see today is going to be a demonstration of how we deliver this content inside the work experience. And for business owners and executives and financial stakeholders, what this means for you is the investment that you're making into Office 365 is going to have a stronger ROI because your users are going to be able to get their work done quicker. You'll have better user adoption with your platform, and they're going to be able to do that all inside of their work experience. Another thing that's really important to share with all of you is the way that we view our product is in two main categories. One is the platform itself. And what I mean by the platform is how we're actually delivering the training content in context. Then there's everything else, which is all the content that we actually do have. And if you go to our website, and I encourage all of you to do that, VisualSP.com, you can see who a lot of our content creators are. So we've curated content from a veritable who's who across all of the Microsoft Office 365 ecosystem. So we have some of the foremost experts in various areas of Office 365 helping us with this curated content. And then on our staff, our VisualSP staff, we have a small collection of expert trainers and expert educators that know how to assimilate that information and put it most effectively and present it most effectively for your end users. We've been curating this content for over 10 years between SharePoint, Office 365, and not quite 10 years from Nintex, but nearly so. And all of this stems back to our years as a training organization. So again, we have in classroom-based training and in education. And so we take that expertise, combine it with this long-standing knowledge and an extensive network of experts in Office 365 and deliver it to your end users. So you could consider this like micro content. So, and some of that is tip sheets or videos or quick reference cards. So quick ways that we can deliver that content to your end users in the context of their work environment in Office 365. And one of the things that I'm most excited about, and something we've had many customers and partners ask us about, is being able to do walkthroughs. And what I mean by that is actually taking your end user step by step through the work that they need to do in Office 365. So with that, Asif, I'm going to hand it back over to you and let you do a demonstration for us.
All right, got a pretty tall order. There's a lot of stuff that I want to accomplish, and hopefully in a good time. Let's see, we could do that. Let me go ahead and first take the presentation rights here from you. And Mark, let me know if you can see my screen.
I can.
All right, wonderful. So currently I'm just showing the VisualSP.com, which is our website that Mark just mentioned. Those of you who have not been, would love it if you guys can join. Check it out. Alrighty, let's do this then. First of all, as I mentioned in the beginning, and I sincerely mean it, time is a pretty scarce commodity. And for you guys to come join us like this, thank you very much for doing that. Really, really appreciate it. What I want to do today is show you the application we've been talking about so far. And this is our newest application for Office 365, specifically focusing on Office 365, the need for it, and what is the need for it. So I want to describe it a little bit and then get into it and show it to you. And any feedback, questions, thoughts, extremely welcome. What I want to do first, before I do anything, is give you guys a poll here as well. Open that up. And I just want to get your quick perspective before I dive in. So here it is, very quick one. Okay, it's a quick poll asking, do you use the question mark in Office 365 and SharePoint? All right, we'll give it about 10 more seconds, then I'll close it, and I'll show you the results so you can see for yourself what your colleagues are saying. All right, there we go. Close and share. So you should be able to see the results now. 21% said yes, which is actually kind of high. Usually I don't even get that many. 71% said no, and my favorite, 9% said, I didn't know there was a question mark there. What are you talking about? A question mark in any application any Microsoft or non-Microsoft application. It sometimes gives you exactly what you want and sometimes kind of leave you hanging as to this is not what I was looking for. This is not satisfying my need. So this is good to know at least from a peer review over here as to how many people are using it, how many not. I'm going to hide this over here so you can see my screen again. What I'm going to go into right now is, as I said, showing you the application is called officially the VisualSP Training for Office 365 application. I cannot take the credit for it completely. There's a lot of work with a lot of individuals have gone into it from our VisualSP team, so thank you very much for all of them. Still, having said that, this application is in beta. Okay, so beta application, and I'm going to request you guys to excuse any glitches that you may or may not see. Hopefully you won't, but if you do, excuse them right now. We're still making improvements. But focus on the possibilities. Focus on the value proposition here, and let us know what you think about it. All right? So here we go. Without further ado, I'm going to dive in first into, where's it over here? Let's see. You know what? Change my mind over here. I'm going to go to OneDrive. Let's go to OneDrive first. As we're talking about, the application is for complete Office 365. There's a lot of applications slash what's called workloads that are in Office 365, right? We've been focused as a company, I've been focused as a trainer very much on this particular one, SharePoint, which is extremely important, obviously, but SharePoint is not the only game in town, especially with the Office 365 in play right now. There's a lot of good stuff. How do you provide people help where they need it, when they need it, directly in context, for them to do their job, for them to get their tasks done, and all of them? That's the whole point, right? How do you really help them? So let's talk about this right now. In the beginning, I asked in the poll that you use a question mark. Those of you who have not even seen it, noticed it, the question mark is right there, top right, right? If I do click on it, here's what I get. So I'm in OneDrive right now, and I clicked on the question mark, and I can say that I'm pretty good at OneDrive and SharePoint and other workloads in general, so I don't really count, but the end users and even the power users that I interact with on a fairly daily basis, they tell me that, you know what, it's not very intuitive exactly how do I go and find information. So if I get this, where do I go? If I just wanted to know, how do I upload files? What is the best way to do that? Can I drag and drop stuff in there? How about the metadata that I set in here? Is it required? How can I visualize everything better? So how do you understand? I mean, the best way in here, which still works really nice, is you just start typing in. So I want to upload my files. You click on upload, and then you click on something comes up. And then it goes to this article, which is a great article, by the way. Lots of good information out there from Microsoft. But the problem for the end users, or the challenge, I should say, that I've seen is that they don't really understand the context of what just happened. I open a new tab, opened up. I got here. Where's my other stuff? And this was right here, right? So coming back and going forward, it just doesn't work out that nicely. Anyway, so having said all that stuff, here's our solution. The hanging VisualSP tab on the right side, right? This is there, follows user around. Wherever the users go, this help tab goes, or this VisualSP tab goes. And when they expand this, they get the help they need, when they need it, where they need it. For example, you click on this over here. So this task pane here is going to show, all right, I got some overview information here, stuff about adding files, sharing files. So I'll go ahead and click on one of these. Let's do this one. This in particular right now is a YouTube video that's coming in from a Microsoft channel. Okay, I'll talk about the content a little bit more later as well as to what our strategy is for content, but this currently is coming from YouTube. I could click on add files and click on, see how these are, they're bold and this one is not bold. It just means that I've clicked on this before. That's why it's gone from being bold to not bold anymore. So if I click on this, this is an article. This is actually the same kind of article that I was showing before, but now it's directly in context to the user, right? So they don't lose context of where they have been before. And you can always pop this out as well, by the way. So I can pop it out as a user if it's a small article or something I want to print out and have it ready at my desk at every time, at all times. I can print this out, right? You could do the exact same thing for videos as well. Let's see, this one I believe is also, yeah, this is also an article in here. So I got some sample content here from OneDrive. If I wanted to, I could, like I said, pop this video out as well. All right, that's how it works. Alrighty, having said that, let me switch to context now. Obviously, OneDrive is just one of the many different places you can go in Office 365. So what I'm going to do right now is go to SharePoint. And I can go directly using this and go to SharePoint. First, it's going to show me the site directory. So I'll jump into a team site. All right, so here's a sample team site, VisualSP team site right now. My VisualSP tab is still there. In this particular context, there's a lot of material that's showing up over here. Keep in mind that this is how we're starting out right now. Later, what we're going to be going towards is showing information that's just in context and just enough for the user. So I personally, as a trainer, believe that there's too much offered right here, and we're going to be, adjusting all these things later. So when you go to a different context, like a specific document library or a specific list or something like that, the context and the content here changes. Speaking of content, by the way, the type of content that is over there is going to be videos. We got screenshots. We got we have tip sheets. As Mark was mentioning before, we also have walkthroughs that are in here as well. And I'll show you example, hopefully, of all of them that's in here. So depending on what the user clicks in this menu, they get the type of information that's helpful to them. So I'll go in, for example, to Office integration. All right, participate in a discussion via Outlook. That's something that I want to know about as a user. I click on this, and this is one of our videos that we have produced. And it shows them completely annotated, completely voice narrated, by the way, 2 minutes or less, because we know that the user time attention span is not that much for end users. So you want to keep it short. Once again, you can expand this one. You can, pop this out as well if you need to. Let me close this for right now. Let me see. So I'm looking for something and I can't really find it right now. I can go ahead and start typing it in also, because we also have this nice dynamic search available. And I can say, all right, let me see, how do you check in a document? And here you go. Similarly, if I wanted to search for something else, I don't know, how about user capability? Here we go, adding users to a site. So these are the kind of things that the administrator of this site or the contributor, these kind of people need this, day in, day out to understand exactly how to do these things. And they can find it quickly, click on it. Oops, sorry, I gave you one that we don't have hooked up yet. See, there's your glitch. So anyway, things like that we could put in there. Let me see, how about this one? I'll go into quick reference. There's lots of quick reference here. So if I click on announcement quick reference, I believe this is an example, here we go, of an annotated screenshot. Once again, that a user can print this out, or they can have it available side by side. So they can just pop this out and have it available side by side, so they're viewing the screen and they can see, all right, here's what this is, here's what that is. All right, makes sense. Also, we have things like, let me click on this one, Introduction to Libraries. So what this is going to do is, I believe this is a PDF file. So yeah, it's a quick reference card also produced by us. We have a bunch of these here, and they can always print this out and have this available directly with them. So we're going to be making lots more quick reference cards like this, lots more screenshots, lots more videos, and all of them are going to be coming in to this application one by one, slowly. All right. I know there's a bunch of questions out there as well, and I appreciate those questions. I won't be able to dig into those currently, but we do have a team of our people, VisualSP folks, who are out there answering the questions. So thank you very much, guys. And later I'll come back to some of these questions as well. But let me continue on here for now. One of the things that I like about this personally is that I can move this tab also up and down, and that really helps. Sometimes it gets in the way a little bit, so I can move it up and down. All right. What I want to do right now is go to a site, in this case, what if it's outside of SharePoint altogether? Oh, I'm sorry, outside of Office 365 altogether. What I mean by that is, if I go to things like Sway or Power Apps or Yammer, even though these are services which are a shortcut from here, there's a shortcut from here, but they're not truly inside the tenant, right? As most of you guys already know. So if I click on Yammer, for example, now I'm at www.yammer.com, right? Still, my tab is there because it is part of a service for Microsoft Office 365. My tab did follow me here as well. And I can click on this, And now I got stuff that's Yammer specific. So creating groups, let's check this out. Okay, so one of our content authors, Melissa, actually has made this particular video of how to create groups in Yammer. Pretty helpful, right? So there's a bunch of stuff like that that you can get to. What I've shown you so far are some videos. I've shown you some screenshots. I've shown you the quick reference card, and I've shown you, of course, the different context. One of the other things that people really like is the ability to have some step-by-step walkthroughs that are right there directly within the interface. Right, so if I'm looking, I'm going to show this to you in the mail aspect over here. If I'm in Outlook in Mail and I want to just understand, what is the interface showing me here? What are these folders and these groups and things like that? And what is that what is this, a toolbar? There's a walkthrough that we have developed here which helps people guide them step by step, understanding the screen as a whole. So I'm going to click on the homepage tour. See, first puts a border around it and tells me that here's the list of your mail items, right? If I click on something, for example, Microsoft Flow, introducing August features for Microsoft Flow. Great. Okay. Now it's showing me that that's the reading pane. Great. Next, mail actions. And that's also encouraging me, on top of just telling me what it is, encouraging me to say, hey, you want to click on the highlighted more actions, which is, see right here, there's a highlight. And if you click on this thing, you'll see a lot more options that you can take, the more actions basically within Mail. So, all right, good. Click on next. Toolbar up above, awesome. Next, filter, sort, and view. It will even expand it for me, I believe. Here we go. So expanded it for me to say, hey, I'm expanding it to you so you can see exactly what's inside here. Wonderful. I'll click on next here. Mail folders, wonderful. And next, search. And then I'm done. Okay, so it guided me and helped me along as an end user to understand the interface better with this walkthrough. So a combination of different learning modalities, including the walkthroughs, really can help the user understand what they're doing and help them accomplish their tasks that much easier. All right, so one of the things that I actually forgot to mention today is that we're trying as much as possible to focus on your questions more than what we're trying to throw out to you, because from our team and from our own research, we of course come up with a lot of ideas and lots of thoughts, but with your ideas and your time and your thoughts is where we're going to get to the next level. So I am actually done pretty much. Let me look at my list and see if there's anything else. Yeah, I'm kind of done as to what I wanted to show. But what I want to do is go to some questions as well, and Mark might have been already doing that. Mark, if you have any questions that you've already been looking at that seems like a good question, we can go with that.
Yeah, we've got a whole bunch of them here. Some of them, let's see, I think we've already covered off. Are you covering all modules of Office 365?
Yes, we are. Mm-hmm.
Yep. Multi-language support was another question that came up.
Yeah, great question. There's actually a bunch of those things which we've been thinking about already in our own team, and this is one of them, the multi-language thing. It's going to happen. Of course, Office 365 is a global application, and yes, we will get there as well. We will be offering in the future the multi-language, but not there yet. Still a beta application. We will get there.
Probably similar answer to this next question. Is it possible to add custom content?
Absolutely. It will be possible to add custom content, not from what you're seeing at this point right now, which is, as I mentioned once again, beta application. But yes, that is in the roadmap to be able to allow you to add custom content in the application.
Right. And a question that I really like, can the users rate help content?
See, that's the kind of feedback that we're looking for. So appreciate
exactly.
that.
That's why I like that.
This is wonderful, wonderful feedback. That should be the ability as well to be able to rate content so you know as an administrator what they're liking and what they don't like, right? So you can make changes yourself. So I'm taking notes right now on my screen. Absolutely. We will be looking into that.
That's a great question. I think those, a lot of the other questions we've been answering in line. I'm trying to look through to see if there's other ones that would be relevant for the whole group.
As you're looking, I'm going to also throw something else out there that, folks, there is actually a survey that's going to come up right when you leave. So in case you do leave us for the whole app, presentation here, please help us with that and give us your feedback. There's also going to be a link that's going to come up in an email to you later. And with that link, you can go to a landing page, which will allow you to get into the beta program, basically get in the updates for this application.
A couple of other questions have come in since we started the Q&A session. One was, where did it go? Sorry, they're coming in really quickly now. Can you show this inside Modern Experiences?
Oh, such a good question. I cannot believe I forgot mentioning that. Yes, absolutely. So hopefully you should still be able to see my screen. I'll prove it to you. I'm going to go to a team site. So same team site, and I'm going to go to document library, which of course looks very different from what you used to for so many years in SharePoint. But now it's a modern look and feel, right? And here's our tab. What's going to happen later, not yet, but later, is going to show only document library specific help and training to users. Absolutely.
Another question is, will help be available in mobile and / tablet views?
Yeah, I saw that from Scott. Thanks, Scott. Very good question. Absolutely. We are trying best we can to hit as many number of different, handheld and other kind of devices as possible. So that is definitely our goal, to be able to do that with mobile as well.
And then one more, and then we'll actually be fairly caught up on the questions, is how do you add this to your tenant, and can this be used for on-prem SharePoint farms?
For those of you who have already known our company for a while, you know that we have a great on-prem solution. It is a farm solution, but it's very, very, very robust. It does a lot of good stuff. In fact, that's exactly what is on our home site, showing up right here. That's what it looks like, kind of, right? So we still recommend that is a really good solution for on-prem. What we're showing currently is very much for online, Office 365, stuff like that. Will this be available in on-prem in the future? That I cannot answer at this point. That's very much on the need and demand at a later point. But currently, on-prem solution, still a great on-prem solution, what we have, which is, as Mark has mentioned, it's got over 1.5 million end users who are using it currently. Was that the whole question, or was there something else?
Yeah, the other part of the question, Asif, was how do you add this to your tenant?
Oh, how do you add this to your tenant? So in this particular case, we are working with different deployment options as well. What I've been showing you so far has been a client-side solution. We're also looking at the server-side solution base as well to be able to get it to the end user. So it's going to have different options where how you can deploy it to the end user and have them use it. Looks like a couple more.
That catches up on, yeah. Oh, yeah, here we go. We've got a couple more.
Yeah, so one I think by Joel over here, will this replace the current VisualSP product? And that's exactly what was mentioned before, Joel, that our current on-prem product it's a very, very mature product now, running in many corporations around the world. You can see the list of our clients on our site as well. We will not be replacing that, for, in my opinion, many years to come. But at the end, I'm not sure exactly what's going to happen, depending on the demand and supply, and feedback.
And then, yeah, we've got we already answered a similar question about custom content, slightly different flavor to it. On this question, if we have added some custom developed page/web part or some other component, can we add our help content into your tool?
Yeah, that's exactly the plan. That there's companies out there, many that I know of, who have amazing content in terms of videos and tip sheets and all the kind of stuff that we have, but they have their own. And they always say, you know what, how do I get this to the user effectively, right? When they need it. And that's exactly why we have this platform. So you can do that. You can take your existing content and plug it in so they can see it when they need it, so that they're not hunting for it when they need it. One of the questions out there by Jesper over here is, what's the timeline for your solution? So that's a great question, because it tells me also that there's interest in, at least playing with this solution. So thank you very much, Jesper, for that question. We're hoping that, by the way, this is something we should have mentioned before, that Ignite, we have a booth at Microsoft Ignite that's coming in Atlanta. We're going to be showing this over there too. So if you do come to Ignite, please come by our booth, shake hands with us, and talk to us. We would love that. After Ignite is where we're hoping to have it in your hands. All right, that's sometime soon after Ignite. And then after that, the current projection is that in about a month or so after that, we're going to have some kind of tool that's going to be available, and that's going to be for you to use. Okay, so current timelines are a little bit, I'm putting in some vagueness over here on purpose. Sorry about that. But if I were to be a little bit more concrete, end of October, beginning of November is something that we're shooting for right now, to have this available so your users can use it. Yeah. Question from Samir out there, will you be showcasing this tool at the Microsoft Ignite conference? Absolutely. We will be showcasing this, Samir. Anything else that you see, Mark? Otherwise, I don't want to hold everybody up.
I think we're good for right now.
Okay. Would you like to add anything else, Mark?
No, not at this point.
Okay. All right, then I guess we'll go ahead and shut it off over here. As I mentioned before, when you do get out of this webinar, there's going to be a survey that's going to come up. We'd love to give us some feedback on that survey. And you can email us directly as well. It's mark@visualsp.com, asif@visualsp.com. Other members of our, some of you know other members of our team as well, so please feel free. Would love your feedback. And just like the comment that came in before about the ratings, that's something that we had kind of thought about. Would love your feedback, and hopefully some of your feedback is going to show up as a product enhancement in the future. So thank you very much once again for giving us your time, and have a great rest of your day. Thanks.